Hi there, namaste, and welcome back to another spiritualistic pick a card reading. As always, like, comment, and subscribe before we get into it so you don't forget to do it later. Today we're doing a dream interpretation reading, so please take a deep breath, drawing the energy up your spine, creating a clear open channel. And as you exhale, come into clear knowing which group or groups has your message in it for you today. We have group 1 on the left with precise as metal, group 2 in the center with cellular healing, and group 3 on the right with ask for help. As always, the timestamps are below in the description box, and if you would like to join my virtual meditation retreat, I highly recommend taking advantage of that resource. It will level you up regardless of where you are on your spiritual journey, meaning that it starts from the basics and gets more advanced. They start around 15 minutes and they end around 30 minutes. Each one is a bit different. Each one is based in facts and science and is put together intentionally and lovingly. You also have access to it forever. So definitely take advantage of that resource. It's the first link in the description box below. Once again, don't forget to subscribe, share, like, drop a comment, and I'll see you over at your reading. Namaste. Hi there, group 1. Namaste, and welcome to your dream interpretation reading. You selected the first group with the precise as metal card. Group number 1. You are definitely a dream interpreter yourself, or you are extremely, not just intuitive, but you're also good at actually understanding the intuitive messages given to you, right? Like, so you actually know what messages your dreams are giving you already. You're very well aware, oh, in my dream, this means this. In my dream, that was just processing. In my dream, this is a replacement for that. It's an analogy for this. This was astral travel. This one is not important at all whatsoever. It's just happenstance, as a lot of dreams are. This one is very literal, very meaningful, and this is what it means, and you're getting it right. You are most likely someone who helps other people understand their dreams or helps other people lean into their Akashic records and learn their story. You're someone who helps other people heal, grow, evolve. You've likely had many dreams where you are simply going around helping other people. You're also in the state of being a lot more progressed than than the date and time on the clock in your body on this earth. Which is, I guess, a more technical way to say you're wise beyond your years. But this is less of a fluffy statement and more of a precise fact. And this has a lot to do with the fact that you have evolved beyond your time. I'm also being shown something along the lines of closed practice. If you are part of a closed practice, a sign for you is that you regularly see your teachers, your gurus, your healers, your whoever might have taught you this or welcomed you into this. If you have a very strong spirit guide you connect with closely, regularly having them visit you in your dreams. It can also be ascended masters. It can also be just someone who's actually very close to you. I know everyone doesn't like the idea of ascended masters, but if we break down what that means, this is an evolved group, so I don't need to do as much beating around the bush as I normally would need to do, so I'll just leave it at that, okay? This is a larger dream interpretation for you that's coming through. Sure, you might have a dream that you are chewing on at this point in time. You might maybe not remember your dream from last night or a couple nights ago, and this will reawaken that for you. But this is more along the lines of what your dreams as an entity are trying to tell you. I'm not saying dreams are a creature, although everyone's spiritual beliefs can look at that differently. Animate and inanimate. In spirituality, there's a fine line sometimes between what that looks like. But that's not what I'm getting at today. This dream interpretation reading for you, it's more about remembering that you know a lot more than any of the resources that are currently around you. other than I'm being shown a specific practice or a specific teacher or a specific person or a specific energy. There's something like this. I'm also being shown in your dreams, you either practicing spirituality even in your sleep, or you teach spirituality even in your sleep. You do energy work even in your dreams. I'm also being shown for those of you who are a part of a closed practice, or you do have some sort of a practice like this, you practicing it in your dreams or even teaching it in your dreams. I'm also being shown someone who meditates in their dreams. In their dreams, they're doing their breath work, they're doing their meditation, they're doing their prayer, they're doing their rituals. And not only is this what's happening in the subconscious, in the spiritual space, but it's also something where I'm being shown every time you do it, you progress. Like, there are certain closed practices, for example, where every time you do one, you progress a year in like life physical time. So there are energies like this. So you might be in wisdom, in soul, in energy, in knowledge, in evolution, 538 years old, walking through a 32-year-old body. So let's get more into the dream interpretation. I know a lot of you are like, yeah, thank you, let's go. I can feel it. So let's move along. Okay. So getting into the tarot here, because that's why they pay me the medium bucks. Okay, Ace of Wands. Again, you do have this this spiritual clarity about what's going on here. It doesn't feel like your dreams reveal anything new to you, other than perhaps they remind you of your power, remind you of your strength. And sometimes when you wake up, you might feel a bit, I don't want to say confused, it's not the right word. You might feel a little bit more human, let's say, when you wake up in your body, which is a normal and natural thing. You wake up and then perhaps the Ten of Swords might look like you needing to intentionally release energy or let go of energy upon waking. For example, you're in your spiritual power, you're feeling nice and clean and clear and protected and elevated, aware, you remember your dream, you have the clear interpretation of said dream, it's precise as metal, and you wake up and it's, oh, I gotta pay my taxes soon. Or it's, oh, I wonder if I drank enough water yesterday. It's, oh, today I have a meeting at 4 o'clock. And it's these little things that are quite natural now for a human, but waking up and it's kind of saying, there's this almost energy that you have to intentionally look at and saying, no, I'm going to release this so that I can continue to move as a spiritual vessel through this world, through my processing of my taxes, through my morning workout, through my meditation practice. There's a little bit of this intention. What do you do with that willpower that you have, that intention? With that energy, it's so much bigger or so much stronger or so much more evolved than the vessel that it currently sits in. So when you wake up, it's like, say that every single one of your dreams is a lucid dream, or most of them are. With this, the interpretation of these dreams, it's a little bit less of what happens in the dream in and of itself. It's less about the environment and less about the happenings of the dream, because you have the interpretation of this part. You don't need my help on that, very clearly. But what this does look like for you is, what do you do with that energy? Sure, you know that you're this powerhouse, you know that you have all this love, you know that you have all this evolution, you know that version of you is kind of like a square peg in a round hole when put up against human life. And that's okay. There's this aspect of self-love that's coming through. What does it really look like to love yourself? And I know it's like, oh, why does it always circle back around to this, right? This is where the confusion comes in, right? Because this is actually asking you to take a look at the illusion, to redefine the term dream a little bit for you, so that it helps you stand in that fullness of self that you are aware of in your dream state, in your meditative state, in that theta state, if you will, of the theta waves in your brain. You know what I'm putting down here. So essentially, to redefine what a dream is, when we meditate and we are connected with Atman, or true self, your fullest self, your spiritual self, your higher self, source, however it is that you're doing your spirituality, right? You awaken into this. This is what you wake up into. So when we're here, this is more of a lucid dream. And you can navigate it as such. Now when we're here and we close our eyes, we take our little break, our little sleep, and you're back into that full expansion, that full power, that full autonomy. You could see that as waking up into there. And then you fall asleep into this body. And in this physical world, we often define it otherwise. And so the interpretation of your dreams here is to flip this inside out or flip it on its head. And this can even carry into your perspective of your dreams in the term of what is it that you are dreaming for in the future? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? Not what do you fall asleep into, but rather what do you wake up into? And whatever your definition of that currently is, flipping that inside out. Because that is where the truth of you is. That is where your strength is. And this is where the truth of you and the truth of the universe are. And this is what your dreams are trying to tell you. Which is why, individually speaking, like dream-wise, sure, there's information that you don't need me to interpret for you. But on a grand scheme, like on a grand scale, the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of things, the question becomes, when you awaken, is there confusion? Not really, but the energy can get spun for a loop, because the question is not, are you confused, or what does this dream mean? It's a little bit more of, where is your focus? It's not what is your intention. It's reminding you how this feels to be in your true essence. It's reminding you who you are, how you feel, and sure, there are nuances that occur, remembering, oh, remember that one lifetime? Oh, remember how this one thing didn't feel very nice? Oh, remember how you can do everything that you put your mind to? Oh, remember that dream you had when you were little? So on and so forth. These you don't need my help with. But the larger interpretation that's coming through here is that you know that you are precise as metal, and in a world that is so much literally the opposite of this, where are you focusing? Because it's so easy to perceive yourself as waking up into this world when what it really is going to sleep. And bringing that awareness, bringing that awakeness, that focus. I'm being shown the third eye, waking up. Where's your focus going? I'm being shown it getting like cross-eyed or getting spun for a loop or focusing on other things. Where's that focus going? Wake up, third eye, expansion. And that doesn't need to be your specific process. It's just what I'm being shown, okay? But where is that focus? Where is that focus? And this isn't about, oh, you can't focus enough on your schoolwork. That's what your dreams are trying to tell you. It's not that. In fact, it's quite the opposite of that. It's, hey, the schoolwork isn't the thing that's important at all whatsoever, which is why if you're having a hard time focusing and it doesn't seem to be a you problem, it seems to be a chronological time problem or an astrological transit problem, and it's not something that you are learning through. It's something you're more evolved than. You might be the kind of person who is, let's just say, outgrown your astrological chart. It happens, okay? Because the true balanced point of an astrology chart is either all the planets in their perfect sign in their perfect house, or no planets in any sign in any house. It's just that balanced axis point in the center. That every single day has its own energetic blueprint. Every single person has its own energetic blueprint. But as a soul, once you clear away that nuance, or if you're born without that nuance, or if you meditate or you evolve outside of that nuance, it's like putting a 75-year-old through a kindergarten class and then being confused why they're confused by the lack of intellectual stimulation in their coloring exercise. Not about being better or worse at all whatsoever. It's not, oh, they're clearly better at coloring. It's not, oh, they're too smart to be around these kids. No, there's a beauty in being around those kids. However, the confusion of, why is everyone else so stimulated by this coloring exercise and I feel like I'm not? Well, look around. That's why. Okay, so this is a little bit more about redefining awakening and falling asleep. What are you waking up into, and what are you falling asleep into? If you see this life, the version of you that is quote unquote quote unquote awake in, hello, it's the day, it's the nighttime, that kind of awake in your body, right? What if you look at this as a lucid dream? Energetically, things just got a lot simpler, didn't they? And that is precisely what your dreams are trying to show you. Group number 1, this is your dream interpretation reading. A little bit of an interesting one, this one. If you have a specific dream, I would definitely take a look at another pile. I've also done other readings on this topic as well, so there are literally hundreds of readings I've made that you can look through on my YouTube channel here. Also on my Patreon, there are also hundreds, so many readings there you can take your time scrolling through, and on my YouTube members channel as well. So you are more than welcome to explore any and all of those. The links to all of those are in the description box as well. And if you want to meditate with me, it's the first link in the description box. My virtual meditation retreat, it is yours forever once you access it. I highly recommend taking advantage of that resource. It is definitely intentionally made, so it's there for a reason. Okay, use it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, Group 2. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're doing a dream interpretation, and you selected the second group with the cellular healing card. Group number 2. I'm getting here that you are going through, it can be a spiritual awakening, it can be a glow up, it's evolution for sure. I'm kind of getting more of a full system evolution, so it's a spiritual awakening, it's also a re-emergence of you. There might be just rebuilding going on for you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, restructuring as well. With the cellular healing card, that's kind of exactly what it is. It's cellular, so it's a little bit less specifically spiritual, but it includes spirituality. It's a little bit less specifically material, but it includes the material, because this looks at literally the particles, the very things that make up you and your life and your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. Now, this dream interpretation that I'm picking up on here, this has also a lot to do with your self-love and also your truth. And this takes a look at a restructuring of you and your relationship to the truth and your truth. Understanding here that sometimes your truth or even the truth are unrelatable to others, and understanding that sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is speak in your truth and honor your truth, and also sometimes that's the worst thing you can do. Now, I'm not saying not to be authentic, I'm not saying to lie, I'm not saying any of that at all whatsoever, but I'm being shown a dream where you have to put, for example, your survival on the line, and that might not be fair for you. Speaking up, speaking your truth might be fair for you, but in critical moments, sometimes that truth is less important. Well, it's not less important. I think that there's this evolution that's going on here cellularly, and I think that's why it's hard to maybe find the words precisely, because this takes a look at the nuance between, looking at what integrity really is when it comes to you and when it comes to your truth. Because say that you've suffered injustice in your life for whatever reason. In these moments, we often have a response of fight, flight, freeze, fawn, tend and befriend. And for one person, fight might come up, and that might equate in one world to sharing your truth. But in another world, that might look like, nope, I gotta run away because that's how I ensure my survival. And so, when we're looking at this outside of a maybe survival instinct mode, this dream for you is showing you how you're evolving, what you're evolving into. And this is a version of you that, yes, your truth is still the same, right? But also there's room for it to grow. There's room for you to grow. And that also sometimes everything doesn't need to be said out loud. Although that might be the opposite of what you feel like you need sometimes. Sometimes we need to get it off our chest. Sometimes we need to feel heard. Sometimes, like, we need it to matter, right? And that doesn't mean that it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, what this dream is trying to show you, essentially, is that you're evolving into a version of you that makes the best next step. That doesn't mean that you don't end up being heard, or you don't end up feeling supported, or you don't end up feeling loved, or you don't end up speaking your truth. But it means that you're evolving into a version of you that makes the next best step. And that might look a little differently from stopping and demanding to be seen or heard or loved or validated in the moment. Now, I want to be clear that this is not coming from a place of maturity or immaturity. This is coming from a place of just moving differently, being rewired a bit differently. And this has nothing to do with, if there's something that is going wrong in your life or in life in general, the right thing to do is to speak up about it. If you also had the opportunity to make a change by not speaking on it and being hypothetically an undercover agent and learning it from the inside, that if in a world where that is the smartest move to make and the most productive move to make, well, the version of you that wants to speak out might feel a bit silenced or a bit frustrated or even a bit unfair, like it might feel injustice. And at the same time, that version of you that would hypothetically maybe solve the problem, but not by speaking the truth right away, not by speaking the truth out, like immediately. That might not feel the best for you, but it will have the best outcome for everyone. And at the end of the day, once it's over, sure, you can tell your story, you can tell your truth, you can reflect on it, you can love that version of you. And so what this is an evolution of the way that you navigate your system, mind, body, spirit, more effectively, more efficiently. But it's also something that is quite uncomfortable. There's a bit of a push-pull energy here. Specifically because of this energy of, well, there's justice and there's injustice. Well, injustice needs to be spoken out against. It needs to be acknowledged. But if no one is acknowledging it, or if acknowledging it is not doing anything at all whatsoever, then at that point in time, like, that might be the least efficient way to actually solve that injustice. And so there's this push-pull energy here between doing what is right versus doing what works. And that's not to say moving out of integrity. It's kind of like a system upgrade. It's a system upgrade. Choosing a more rebirth. Choosing a more, like, maybe complicated but efficient solution here, or understanding that sometimes things are nuanced in this sense. So let's see, what is this dream trying to tell you? Group number 2. It's very clear that you're going through a transformation right now. And it's also very clear as well that you feel a little bit guarded towards some of the things that you have to do in order to either stay afloat or stay balanced, or just keep things balanced, keep things fair, keep things manageable, keep things afloat right now. It feels as though there's definitely a lack of almost empathy for you, or a lack of empathy for a group of people that's close to your heart, or for you, that's kind of happening right now. And so this dream, it's trying to show you that you're meant to continue to build, okay? You're meant to continue on, but you're evolving as you continue on, because you're going to make it there. Something's going to be okay. You're going to make it. It's going to end up being okay no matter what. But it does require a little bit of this do first, think later energy, but almost in a backwards way to what you would normally experience it as. Maybe do first, think later might be do first, meaning speak out, think later about the consequences of speaking out after. Now, this is kind of putting you in a little bit more of an energy of do first, think later, but the do first is do what needs to be done in an effective and efficient way, and then think later about, yeah, it was so awful that that happened to me and that happened to them and this wasn't fair, but I got it done and I got it fixed, and now we'll sit down and we'll give everybody big hugs. There's this energy like this, and it feels almost it feels painful, or it feels like there's resistance here, because it feels like it's removing yourself from a situation that you feel a lot of empathy towards, you feel a lot of feelings towards. It's something that either affects you personally, or it's something that affects others so much that it does affect you personally and emotionally. And so there's this energy here of you doing the thing that works, which in that context is also the right thing. It can maybe feel going into this transformation like you're not doing the right thing, you're not honoring yourself, but you also know that you are. And so there's this like catch-22 kind of energy. That's what this dream is trying to show you. I'm also being shown a different example that's a little bit less morally charged, if you will. Now say that there's a house on fire, right? And you want to call the fire department to come put out the fire. That is what most people will do. They will call the fire department. Oh my God, everyone, there's a fire. Call the fire department, right? And that technically works. It also technically takes a long time for them to arrive, a long time for them to get their stuff out, a long time for them to show up. And those minutes, while everyone is simply just talking about it, saying someone call the fire department, those can be critical moments that can be life or death for people or valuables or loved ones inside that house. And so this would look a little bit like you running into that house and saying, I know that there's a child in there and I know where she is. I'm running in there, I'm grabbing her, and I'm running out. And you do, and you succeed, and you know that you will succeed in doing so. But you will also be around people who are telling you, don't do that, wait for the fire department. Don't do that, wait for the fire department. Ultimately, this is something where there's a bit of a morally charged energy here, but it's a little bit easier to see, well, if it's life or death for that person, and you can do something about it, and the people who are supposed to do something about it either aren't here or they're just waiting for somebody else to do it, well, at the end of the day, you know what needs to be done. You have the awareness of it, and you are transforming into a version of you that can take that on and does take that on. And this is based out of love, too. So what this dream is trying to show you is that you are growing and evolving, and you are doing your best to do right by yourself and also right by what is right in general. Like, you're trying to just do what is right. You're also trying to do what is right by you, and you are growing and evolving. You're growing up. And there's also this underlying message here of the spiritual awakening aspect that kind of sheds light on saying something is not equivalent to doing something. Now, you know this in your life. But when it comes to standing up for what's right, if you suffer injustice, saying something about it and doing something about it are two very different things. Now, everyone might be saying something about it, but if you don't say something about it, it actually gives you the opportunity to do something about it. And if you're doing something about it, it means that you're too busy applying yourself to be speaking on something. But in a world full of speak on it, speak on it, speak on it, speak on it, and then we will be the collective judge of whether you are right or wrong. In a world like that, no one is doing anything. They're arguing, they're debating, they're feeling morally superior. but there's no action being taken. Now, in your personal life, we see that you take action. You take action and things happen that are unfair. You take action and things happen that are unfair. You do what needs to be done, and you're not speaking on the things that are unfair. And if you do, it seems to be met with resistance. Like, well, you should just deal with it. Because it's you. Because you can. Because you're strong. There's also the cellular rewiring here too. Understanding that everyone's not going to understand you. And when I say everyone's not going to understand you, it really feels as though don't expect anyone to understand you. You are a very unique person in a very unique position in life, and you deserve to reach that Ten of Pentacles energy without people being out against you, even just out of stupidity, not necessarily malice. The thing here is that you are being shown through your dreams right now where trying to relate to others, or more, I guess, efficiently said, expecting others to relate to you is kind of a lost cause at this point in time. Because to someone, everyone agreeing on a particular comment or everyone agreeing on a particular topic is a way to keep the peace when no one is doing anything, no one is growing, no one is changing, no one is evolving, but everyone is policing. Now that doesn't make their sentiment wrong, but it doesn't make their actions right. And so you're evolving into a version of you that is a little bit more effective and efficient. One thing about you is you put your money where your mouth is, and you're also aware that the world can be cruel and unfair for absolutely no reason. And so your dreams are trying to remind you that loving yourself and loving others doesn't look like fitting in with the group. It might not be that you disagree with the group, but it's so interesting that when it comes to actually doing something about it, they do disagree with you. But the sentiment that they're all out here preaching, it's quite agreeable. Otherwise, what, you get socially smited? Okay. All while no one is doing anything about it. All while there's a band of people calling themselves morally superior with peer pressure to join or be against them. And then there's you. Someone who sees what they're talking about, does agree with them, but is also aware that confirmation bias or being in a room with a bunch of people that agree with you isn't going to be how you grow. It isn't going to be how you fix things. It isn't going to be how you evolve. It isn't going to be how you solve a problem by sitting in a room with a bunch of people who have that problem where you all complain about that problem. Sure, it can be cathartic, and yes, there are versions of you here today that feel unheard, that feel like injustice has occurred to you. But the difference here is that you're someone who does something about it. And you're going to get to that end of the road. That's the difference. That's the cellular healing. Cellular healing, not verbal group regulation, co-regulation, healing. Because what happens when we co-regulate, it's a good thing. You know, it's a necessity for us as humans. But at the same time, we take my vibe and we take your vibe and we create it into a vibe that's in the middle. It's a blend of our vibes. But if everyone is so devoted to being in the same exact vibe and no one's doing and everyone's whining, sometimes that's the least appropriate thing to do. The world doesn't need one more person who is, dramatic because of art. The world doesn't need one more person who is going to talk about how things aren't fair, stick it to the man. Yeah, we know. We all know. You might agree with it. You might even embody that. But that's different from doing something. That's different from showing up on the front lines, undercover, doing your thing. That's different from understanding right from wrong in an actionable sense. And it's funny because doing the morally correct thing might not be always the most agreeable with the people in the room all agreeing that they're morally superior as long as everybody agrees with them. And you might not disagree with their sentiment either. It's just that much to that collective's chagrin, they're actually being complicit. Your dreams are trying to help you get to your destination, and they're assuring you that you're going to. They're also showing you how you're going to. And they're reminding you along the journey here, as you're growing, that there is nuance to morality. There is nuance to right and wrong. There is nuance to what is best versus what is best for you. Now there's, again, nuance between what's best for you and what's best, period, for everyone. And you understanding that essentially for you, this looks like more often than not taking the road less traveled. What's best for you? If everyone out here is just out for themselves, someone needs to do what's best for everyone. And alternatively, if everyone is just doing what's right, doing what's right, doing what's right, you need to do what's right for you. There's nuance to that. It's not an end-all, be-all, F what's right for you, do what's right for everybody all the time. You gotta move right by you. But at the same time, that's not always the call either. This is growing. This is you evolving. And this is your dreams kind of showing you your next steps, your next approach, and reminding you that there's nuance to right and wrong. There's nuance, especially to morality. I'm being shown the trolley problem. Okay. If you were to take the trolley problem, 1 person versus 5, right? Traditionally it's taught, or it was taught in my morality class in high school anyway, as 1 person that you love so much versus 5 strangers. Ooh, tricky. What if it's 1 person that you don't know at all whatsoever? You don't know up, down, left, right. You don't know if they're a good person, bad person. You don't know them. And the other 5 people are on the Epstein list. Okay. There's nuance to morality. And I'm not saying, again, one is right or wrong. That is the point. There is right or wrong for you. There is right or wrong for everyone. And between those 2 steps that you can take, there is a right or wrong in each individual moment that you have the discernment to move towards. And you're being shown what that looks like. And you might be a bit confused because it asks you to rewire some of your, let's call it programming, around morality, around spirituality, around your social life, perhaps. And it's not to say that you need to disagree. It's not to say that you need to rebel or run into a fire. It's not to say that the people with opinions that you agree on, you don't hang out with them anymore. It's not saying that at all whatsoever. What it is saying is that sometimes doing what's best for you is actually doing what's best for everybody. And sometimes doing what's best for everybody is just doing what's right by you. There's nuance, and your dreams are showing you what it is. And I'm hearing We Can't Be Friends by Ariana Grande. Specifically right in the beginning, I didn't think you'd understand me. I don't know why you'd even try. And, I don't want to tiptoe. I don't want to fight. I also don't want to feed this ugly fire, right? So maybe there are messages for some of you in that song. So group number 2, this is your dream interpretation reading. This shed love, light, and clarity for you. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Drop a like and a comment. as always, if you are interested in joining my meditation retreat, it's the first link in the description box below. Definitely take advantage of your resources. That's why they're there. So you have access to it forever. And it's a wonderful space where you and we can sit down and meditate together every day. It's a nice way to stabilize your practice, to explore something new. They go from generally more beginner to generally more advanced, but I also made sure that they're friendly for everybody. So whether you've been meditating on the top of Mount Kailash for 5,000 lifetimes, or you've never meditated before and you want to get into it, I made sure that it's good for everybody. I even made it friendly for people who cannot visualize things in their mind. So with that being said, it's definitely going to level you up regardless of where you are in your spiritual journey. They go from around 15 minutes to around 30 minutes each one. Again, there's a little nuance in there because each meditation calls for something different. But this is a wonderful way for you to do what's best for you. And in the same way, do what's best for everybody, because meditating for 15 minutes, meditating for 30 minutes is going to make you happier, healthier, wealthier. And it will also bring that out into the world too. One more person meditating for 30 minutes, one more person meditating for 15 minutes. It does a whole lot more good than anything else. So it's an act of love. So with that being said, it's the first link in the description box. I'd love to have you over there. And have an amazing day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. Check out another pile or another reading, and I'll see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, group 3. Namaste, and welcome to your dream interpretation reading. You selected the third group with the Ask for Help card. Now, group 3, I'm getting here immediately that there is somebody that you go to for help, or I'm getting actually for most of you, there's somebody that comes to you for help a lot, or they've recently asked you for help, or this is someone who you help out a lot in some way, shape, or form. There's definitely this ride or die kind of energy that's here underneath the Ask for Help card. And I'm getting that this is a little bit more of an unspoken bond than anything else, interestingly enough, because the ask for help, it feels like, okay, let's make it obvious now. Like, you can ask them to show up for you. You can ask them for help a little bit more so than just, hey, I'm here if you need it, and then they take actions in that direction, right? There's more like, you can talk about it. You can make it obvious. And so what I'm being shown here is that you've recently had a dream or two that has actually maybe enlightened you a bit as to this person's true positioning towards you. For example, if this is someone who's like totally a ride or die, they like might have a crush on you. And if you dream about like their motives being revealed to you, their feelings being revealed to you, it's pure, but it's still present is kind of what I'm getting. I'm being shown that, again, this is someone who shows up as a ride or die for you, but they want to kind of take it slow. I'm definitely getting the vibe of this is someone who you had a dream about, or maybe they insinuated that they liked you, or they told you that they liked you, or they asked you out on a date, or maybe your dream, you're living happily ever after, or something like this. And it's also something that's supported by friends, family, people around them too. And it's also something where in some way, there are things that resonate with you that are fun. There's something here that this person is known for that you don't really quite get to express in your life. And also vice versa. There's something that this person is known for that you don't really get to quite express in your life. And so some of these things that are beneath the surface are being shown to you in your dream, but that's not the point of this. This might just be showing you where you two might be a little bit more congruent than you might initially think. Now, this might be something, this dream might have caught you off guard or taken you by surprise a little bit, because this is something where you've considered stepping out of the situation or walking away from this this friend, this peer, this coworker, this neighbor, whatever it is. You might have considered, say it's a neighbor, you might have considered moving, right? And as you do, you're like, well, I'm not that close with this neighbor. Sure, we say hi. We like we've hung out twice over a few years. I wouldn't necessarily go knock on their door with a fruit basket and tell them that I'm leaving and give them a great big hug, right? It's just kind of this energy of you've considered maybe walking away, or you've considered like maybe I'm getting like putting them on a list or taking them off a list or something like this. But you're also a bit guarded because of the nature of the energy here, because of the nature of the love here. There also seems to be something where I'm being shown a situation. Say that you have a best friend in the whole entire world, and you also have someone who has gone absolutely out of their way, bend over backwards to be an absolute jerk to you and your loved ones. They steal, they lie, they fight, all of these energies, and maybe they're just a bully, right? So if your best friend were to befriend that person under, well, they haven't done anything to me, right? Tale as old as time, right? It makes you question. It makes you kind of question, do I need to put you on my watch list too? It kind of makes you question, do you really care about me? It kind of makes you question, are you going to believe lies about me so easily? Or are you going to believe lies in general so easily? Right? There's an energy like this that's kind of omnipresent. And this begs the question of, where do you stand? Where do I stand? What are your motives? What do you believe? And so I'm being shown, again with this ask for help energy, that your higher self or their higher self or your spirit guides or the universe kind of have banded together in some way, and they heard your maybe subconscious inquiry, if you will. Where do they stand? Now, are they for me? Like, are they on my side? Or are they just on this side of whoever's making them feel good about themselves that day, right? And it doesn't mean that you don't love or appreciate this person. There's just a question of it, right? It's like if your neighbor throws parties at 3 o'clock in the morning and it's very loud and you can't sleep and it's a weekday, you might question like, oh, I don't know if that's someone that I really want to be friends with, because it seems that they don't really care too much about me, not even as an individual. They just don't really care about their neighbors, right? There's kind of a question here of, is that what's true? Or were they out of town and their cousin was visiting and so their cousin threw a big party, right? Nuance. Or did this friend actually stop hanging out with that person because they never brought it up again? There's just an energy of where do they stand? There's kind of this feeling of you are starting to lean into it, like this ride or die energy. Progressing slowly, part of a community, there's a lot of fun, there's a lot of love, and it seems like that's what it's progressing into. And so this dream, in some way, was actually revealing the true intentions, the true feelings, the true stance that this person has towards you in some way. And in some way, this was, I'm getting a bit of a surprise. It might have opened your eyes to this or opened your mind to it. And it also, I'm getting, is part of the cause for the hesitation here on your end or on their end. I'm getting that you and this person share something in common, and it's that you have been cast aside and or hurt by a community that was supposed to be there for you. Hence this ride or die type energy. This person might not be very enthused to learn that you have been questioning whether or not they are on your team, for example. Because they know what it's like. Let's use the friend example again. Say that you have a best friend and then you have someone who like historically has bullied you and your friends. Now, if your best friend befriends that person, and it kind of makes sense that you would question your friend. But if that friend learns the truth, and they cut that person off, they don't move forward with that person, they might not bring it up again because they know it's a sore subject and maybe they feel kind of bad. But because there's no communication there, you might question whether or not that person is really your friend, or if they'll stick around a long time, or if you need to start hiding, like not telling them everything anymore. And it's natural, but it would also make sense that it would, if that person is ride or die for you, which it really feels like they are, it would naturally hurt that you would question that. But again, there's no conversation here. But it's also because not only are they there for you, not only do they love you, but also they might love you more than they're letting on. They might have deeper intentions than what is being presented to you. and they also know what it's like to be in this situation. So with that, they're able to take more of a, like, they can't walk a mile in your shoes, or a kilometer for my international friends. They can't walk a mile in your shoes specifically, but they've certainly walked a mile down that same road also in shoes that had a bunch of holes in them while people were throwing rocks at them. Like, it's like they understand a very specific situation, not as being you, but as far as the environment, creating a product, it's pretty band for band there. Which might come as a surprise to one or both of you, because I'm getting that there hasn't been too much conversation about these kinds of things. There's kind of just this unspoken ride or die energy. I'm being shown two people on, let's say, a battlefield. Okay, not really what I'm seeing, but what I'm seeing is a little bit more like in the streets vibes. So, say that you're both on a battlefield, you're part of the same team, you are soldiers for the same situation, I don't know. And you don't really have time to sit down, hi, hey, how's it going? My name is blah, 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 and this is what I'm good at, this is what I like, this is my birthday, it's my favorite time of the day, I really like this kind of food, this is what I've been through. Like, no. You show up with your clip, and they're there with their clip. You show up, you look at each other, you don't say anything, you nod, and then you just kind of keep faith in that eye contact, and you both move forward. And then it comes to, just so happens to be, that you end up being each other's ride or die. You end up having each other's back, and thus 30 years later, 50 years later, you have a lifelong friend, right? You're not sitting down over a cup of tea and sitting there on the beach in your swimsuit with a pina colada going, oh yeah, I remember this time I was so scared to drop into a bowl on my skateboard. And they're like, oh, you could totally do it, man. Like, you know, it's not chill. Like the environment, it's not chill. And so the ride or die energy that comes through here, it's like you just have to have almost blind faith in it. And so the acts of faith that are like not blind, they show up, and they show up strong, and they show up clearly. But there's not this stopping to soften into it. And that's what this dream is showing you. If you were to stop and soften into it, what is really here? And it's actually something very sweet and beautiful. And interestingly enough, I'm hearing the song Crush by David Archuleta. For some reason, the fact that he used to be a Mormon is popping into my head. I do not know why. Take it as it resonates. Leave it if it doesn't. But also a part of the reason why he left that is actually because he's LGBTQIA+. So that can be a significant factor in here as well. Again, doesn't have to be, but it can be. And again, there's this energy of that which is unsaid. That which is consistently unsaid. So it can be, I don't resonate with that dogma. It can be, I don't swing that way. It can also be something along the lines of, I haven't shared with you my feelings or my position or something like this. Like that softening into it to get to know each other on that level is not there. But that ride or die energy and showing up in the ways that are important are there. Now, you have, at the very least subconsciously, asked the universe for a bit of a sign. You have at least been curious about where does this person truly stand, both towards you and perhaps even towards other things as well. And so this dream showed you the answer, the very accurate, tangible truth. Now, if you are like 10 toes down for this person, they are 10 toes down for you too. If you are like thinking about having a crush on this person, and then you have a dream where they're like professing their love for you and they're like trying to take you out on dates and they're like telling you and professing their love and all of these things, that's because that's how they feel. It's not because your dreams are trying to delude you. This was a dream that was showing you what's in their heart. And also notice that your response or the way that you feel or what was activated in you from that dream, it's very lucid. So you might have had a bit of what I would call an emotionally lucid dream. You'll know what a lucid dream is. Well, mostly it's where you are conscious, where you're lucid in your dream, right? But this might be where you're a little bit more aware of your internal narrative, of your emotions. It's a little bit more like you are conscious of these things, but still you're going through you're following the flow of the dream. Naturally, it's a little bit less like playing a video game with the actions. It's a little bit more of lucidity in the heart where you're like, oh, well, if that was true, I would feel this way. Or maybe I do want to explore that. Or maybe I do feel a sense of relief knowing that I can ask this person for help and I can actually genuinely trust them, whatever it is. With the ask for help card, it's like coming through in two different ways. The universe heard your cry for revealing this person's heart a little bit, and you kind of already had an inkling here. But this isn't something that is being like pronounced to you publicly necessarily, so that's where this dream is coming in handy. And it might not be that you sat down, you got on your knees and you prayed, right? Like, reveal this person's heart to me. No, it's maybe like heard the questioning in your heart, or you went back and forth and it's like, whoa, let's put a stop to that before before it starts throwing you for a loop there. And then also there's this reminder that you can come to this person and like be forthright with them. You can come to this person, you can ask them for help, you can provide them with help. And also there's this understanding, like this, again, this silent understanding that you understand parts of each other that other people don't. And also that ride or die energy. Now, there's a little bit of this, there's so many different options that are presented here, which might be why you choose to present that there are other options, or maybe not announce that you are locked into this, or whatever it is here. The 8 of Cups with the Knight of Wands, it's kind of giving to me like 7 of Cups plus 1. It's like you have options. And the Knight of Wands here with the 8 of Cups, let me explain. It's like, say that you have a lot of different people that you could date and you're kind of flirting with a few of them, hypothetically, okay? Now that's 7 of Cups with the Knight of Wands energy to a T. But instead it's the 8 of Cups and you're like, well, I don't want to be in that energy, so instead I'm going to step out of that situation, okay? Inadvertently maybe leaving that person behind, or inadvertently perhaps saying, if it's meant for me, it will be there at a different location, at a different destination, energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever, right? If I walk away from this place where that person who used to bully me and all my friends always hangs out, even though I go there every Wednesday, instead, if I go somewhere else, if that friend wants to hang out with me, they'll hang out with me somewhere else on Wednesdays. Or they'll either be locked into the Wednesday place that I've been going to where that bully is there, or they'll lock in with me and our group of friends and they will be somewhere else if they want to hang out with me. And if they want to go to that place, it's their prerogative. And if they want to hang out with me, that's also their prerogative, but I'm going to go somewhere else. It's kind of like giving this energy as well. So there's a question here of, it's not do you stay or do you go with this person. It's a little bit more of, if you stay or if you go, what will this person choose? And it's a lot deeper than you think. Again, I'm hearing crush again. So I do think that this person, whatever it is, the situation like definitely has a crush on you. Okay. And in the case where that could not possibly be the situation, just understand that there is so much more love there than you think possible. And I'm getting, unless there's some sort of extraordinarily effed up reason why that could not be the case, this person does probably have a crush on you in some way, at least a little bit. Your dream would have revealed it to you, but it also might have revealed some surprising other little tidbits about this person that they might not be too straightforward with in their own life or presentation of self, or just tidbits that haven't found you yet. Okay, so do keep that in mind. It's something that's unsaid, but that love is there, and the action with that love is there as well. It's just something that's kind of kept close to home for whatever reason. And the reason will be something that you can fully relate to because it's going to mirror you in some way. So yes, you can ask this person for help. Yes, this person will show up to help you. Even I'm getting, they can hear your energetic cries for help and they're always right there. You maybe don't even talk to them about it. You maybe don't even ask them. They just show up on time, just like the doctor ordered, maybe even a couple minutes early with exactly what you need. And you don't even have to say anything otherwise. And that in and of itself should be proof. But because of the nuance, because of the situations, because of the lack of conversation your dreams have revealed to you, I'm just kind of getting all that in a bag of chips. Like your dreams have revealed to you, which kind of just means like amazing. So it's interesting that that phrase came through, but it's just revealing to you. It's kind of just spilling the tea a little bit. So you can see this dream as tea spilling more so than it is an analogy for something else, okay? And I am getting to tell you, yes, you can take it personally. Yes, you can take it to heart. Yes, you can take it seriously. Yes, you can bring it to the bank, okay? So group 3, that is your dream interpretation. Like, comment, subscribe, and share, because this shed love, light, and clarity for you, and it's a wonderful way to support me back as I support you. And with that being said, if you'd like to meditate with me, it's a wonderful way for you to just grow and hold yourself accountable. And we do go there, so just be aware of that. But it goes from gentle to deeper and deeper, okay? From around 15 minutes to around 30 minutes meditation. Each one deserves its own little nuance, and they do, right? You can take it chronologically, which is what's recommended as the way that I channeled it and the way that I created it, but you also have access to it forever, so you can use what you need, like, as needed. So that will always be there for you. So definitely take the resource, put it in your pocket. You definitely won't regret it. That's the first link in the description box below for my virtual meditation retreat. Okay, you can also follow me on TikTok and on Instagram if that's something that interests you. I have hundreds of videos you can watch just like this on Patreon, and even more on my YouTube members channel as well, so check those out if you're interested. The links to all my stuff is in the description box. Have an amazing day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Namaste.